So, this is it, huh? This is the point where the game finally opens up.
Believe it or not, it actually is.
We made it, guys.
This is where Final Fantasy XIII becomes a Final Fantasy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Arclet Step.
Or the Arclight step, or the Arkill step,
Archiled.
or the Arclight step.
It's a kind of
I like Arclight, but it's not spelled that way.
A Seath.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's no threat to anyone anymore.
So anyway,
The seed that failed their focus
who wants to see us do a side quest?
and wander the wild.
Everyone?
Eventually, they lose
I
the
imagine
will
at
to
this
go
point the
on
answer is in fact
and
everyone.
turn to stone.
So let's give a brief explanation of things.
Even in this
These
game,
are Seath
you can't
stones,
forget the task
and
once
they
had.
are the
they call
primary
out
side
Seath.
quest of this game.
Hold it, I have an objection to what you just said.
Focus.
Yes, go ahead.
Eternal regret, huh?
You just said the primary side quest, but that gives the mistaken implication that there is a secondary side quest.
Come on, we can't just ignore it. Listen, if we
But I
fail
think
our
you will
focus, it
find
could be us suffering like
that this is the only side quest.
Wow, what a happy thought. That's not like you.
But going out of his way
As
to help
I
someone,
was saying,
that's no honor.
pretty much these are the hunts. It's pretty much identical to Final Fantasy XII's version of them. You find a Seath Stone, he tells you, hey, here's the thing, this is a special boss monster, you need to go kill it. So you do, and then you get some goodies for it.
I think it says a lot about this game that the characters you interact with the most and that actually have any bearing on how you play the game are inanimate.
Yeah. Also, you said that the hunts were like Final Fantasy XII, but I disagree with that too. Final Fantasy XII's hunts were interesting, and in a couple of cases had like unique gameplay mechanics and were integrated quite well in some cases into the environment. Also, the Final Fantasy XII hunts had this sort of ongoing plot thread that materialized as they went on, and led up to a nice satisfying conclusion at the end. Whereas this...
Well, at least it's keeping in spirit with the rest of the game. If there is a plot, you can't understand it.
I'll give it that. It's consistent.
Alright, so let's go check out some of the local wildlife.
Hey, you appear to be in some difficulty.
Yeah. Let's not investigate the local wildlife.
I think that might have been a mistake on our part.
And so it ends.
Well, okay, I guess they weren't kidding about Pulse being horrifying.
Yeah. So, this is one of those unfortunate things you kind of have to find out on your own, is that most of the enemies on Pulse will actively fuck your shit up in every way. Including, that big fella right over there.
Hey, he looks interesting.
We'll see him another day.
See, one thing that we probably should comment on straight away, because it's really worth commenting on, is that this area is really fucking pretty. I mean, like, I know it's just an open plain with some rocks, but come on. Just look at this place, and you got all the enemies running around, and they're in their little packs, and they're all... some of them are interacting, and it's just really good.
They've come a long way in area design since they did the Calm Lands.
For real.
And it should also be noted this area is fucking huge. Like, the area of the Arclet Steppe is probably about as big as, like, a couple entire chapters on one map. And there are multiple sub-maps that come out of it.
And you can move freely from one area to another.
Yeah, and for all the stuff going on, they still managed to do a good enough job of rendering it all.
I think if the entire game took place in this area, it would be great.
Yeah, I don't understand why they couldn't just make, 3 or 4 areas that are about as large and interesting as this. Well, actually, no, I do understand, because they did do that once, and it was called Lightning Returns. But I digress. This area is really good.
And the strangest thing is that when they do areas like this in the sequels, the frame rate totally shits the bed. But, like, here it's fine.
Well, I guess that one of the other things that they might have done with all their masses and masses of spare development time is optimizing everything. Because, let's face it, the sequels were just slapped together. And I think it makes sense that they wouldn't be very well optimized.
Well, if you've only got one area in the game that's any good, why not put all your effort into that?
Yeah, but then again, at the same time, why not take the effort that you put into the 4 or 5 shitty areas from the first quarter of the game and put that into one good area like this? And repeat for the next 4 or 5 shitty areas and the next 4 or 5 shitty areas after that. I mean... Gah. I don't want to think seriously about how good a game this could have been if it had had the right kind of effort put into it. Speaking of what kind of game it could have been if it had the right kind of effort put into it, how's everyone handling the latest Final Fantasy XV news?
I've been ignoring it, really.
I don't really know how to feel about it. One of those things where I don't want to judge it too much until we see, like, the actual demo come out.
Because, to those who aren't religiously following along, the game's new director has come out and has said a couple things that kind of give the impression that it's going to be a button masher, and there's not much context to it, and there's only so much that people can read into it, but that's not stopping people from reading everything into it and saying that it's just going to be another BioWare-style awesome button gimmick. So yeah, that's the Final Fantasy XV fandom in a nutshell right now.
It seems like they've said that about almost every Final Fantasy that's come out so far.
I don't know, I think Square have got a bit of goodwill going on right now after the way they managed to turn 14 around, and now it looks like they're doing the exact same thing, where they had a game that was languishing in development hell, and they brought a new director in, and he's been honest about stuff. It kind of bodes well.
I don't know. You say honest, but it looked that, what was it? I think Tabata is his name?
Tabata, yeah.
Yeah, he was really throwing Nomura under the bus. Like, really bad.
Yeah. But again, can we blame him for that?
I'm not saying he doesn't necessarily deserve it, but holy shit, like, it was like, basically, almost everything wrong with what went wrong in, in Versus 13 is Nomura's fault.
Yeah.
Well, at the very least, when you say button masher, it makes it sound a lot less like they wanted to make a multiplayer game and then just packaged it as single player, like, 12 and 13.
Anyway, so yeah, these guys are, technically speaking, these guys are 2 steps up in the local environment chain. But the only thing they do is cast Aurora and Aroga. So we can beat them if we're clever.
I'm trying to remember if I ever had any problems with them. I mean, I probably got a game over on them at least once, everybody does, but...
With the right approach, they can be pretty well trivialized. By the way, I can't help but notice that we switched to Lightning, Fang, and Hope.
We have, yeah, this is... Hope just got his big, Eidolon. It seems like a fair reason to go ahead and put him in the party for a little bit.
But not as leader, how he could actually use the new Eidolon.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, Hope is a terrible leader. Lightning is an okay leader. Fang is a great leader. Why aren't we playing as Fang?
Alright, so here's the deal. Pretty much, Fang is going to sit there and spam Fogga. And once Fog lands, these guys can do basically nothing.
Well, that seems like an effective strategy. As I said, I don't think I ever fought these guys while having to rely on Fog like that.
I mean, to be fair, this is something that we should not be fighting right now. We're gonna see the level below them later in the video, and those guys summon these guys. And we're just fighting 4 or 5 of them right off the bat here.
Okay then. Yeah. Again, something nice that we can say about this area is that this is an area that actually lets you explore. And
so yeah, look at that target time.
Yeah, seriously. So there are places that you shouldn't be going, but you can go there anyway, and you can cheese the enemies, and you can get away with it if you want, if you're good enough. That, I can respect that.
And then you get an accessory that would have helped you a whole lot against them.
Yes, we did. The Zephyr Ring is wind resistance, so yeah, thanks game.
Well, that's pretty much the typical Final Fantasy thing. Once you prove that you don't need something, the game gives it to you.
I don't think that's even the typical Final Fantasy thing. That's like a typical video games thing. Or at least a typical JRPG thing. So, what are we actually doing right now?
Right now we're just kind of wandering around and fucking off. It's like there's really nothing. We're totally ignoring the plot. So, but we're about to fight our next target here.
Oh, okay. So is that why we're ditzing around with paradigms?
Yeah, I should have put in Delta Attack, but unfortunately I did not, and this fight's gonna go 3 minutes because of it.
Good to know. So I'm guessing this guy is a much stronger version of all the other guys?
You got it!
Wow.
Yeah, the first thing you want to do is make sure Hope gets up Veil, because they all inflict poison with their breath, and it does a decent amount of damage, so the first thing you want to do is get that up.
And then what? Just regular long drawn-out fight tactics?
Yes and no. You say the more damage you can inflict on each individual one at a time, better, so spamming Blitz is a good move here. You say really your main objective is to knock out the little guys, because the boss on his own is really not that impressive. It's just the sheer number of them altogether.
So, like, is it feasible to just fight them with regular blitzes, or should you be trying to stagger them? It looks like they stagger quite quickly.
They do stagger quite quickly, and if I had Delta Attack, I probably would be going for staggers, but yeah. You said, and don't change off your Sentinel. That is a bad idea.
Do you know what's great? Having Combat Clinic with your Sentinel down. And I like how they just cancelled your raise. That was nice. That was cool. A cool thing that they did.
That was, we don't have vigilance, do we?
No, Hope does not have vigilance. So even if I wanted it, I couldn't put it down.
Hope, you get your Eidolon and then become useless right away.
Yeah, I think Hope's last few good abilities are still locked away in the next tier, which we won't be getting for quite a while. Man, I can't wait till we get tier 9. Tier 9 is just the best tier. At least if you're in a role that can afford it. See our previous ranting about secondary roles.
I think by the time I got up to tier 8 or 9, I actually was buying some of their off jobs just because they were actually cheaper than getting the ones that you regularly get. It's like 3,000 for one ability? No problem!
Yeah, I think we kind of went over that the last time we looked at the new Crystarium tier. Like, you said that this is the point where you want to get Fang a couple of spells and get Hope some commando stuff.
I'm not even looking in terms of abilities and unlocking jobs, it's just, if I want some quick stat boosts, that's where I'm gonna go.
Well, if you have this party, and Fang can be a Ravager and Hope can be a commando, then this party, widely already considered to be the best party in the game, can do both Tri-Disaster and Cerberus. And that's just fun.
Yeah, I think it was not until well after I beat the game that I discovered the whole being in a role actually does something for the whole party thing.
Yeah, for a game that goes so out of its way to stop you at every turn and bombard you with screen-filling dialogue boxes telling you things about how the game works, they sure forget to tell you a lot of very important things.
Alright, well at any rate, that's 2 hunts down, and this time we're actually going to an entirely new area, the Yashas Massif.
Now that's a stupid name. However, unlike this area, that name is actually pronounced by someone ever in the entire Final Fantasy XIII trilogy, so we actually know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, but in order to get there, we have to go back to where, we started this area. So here we are. We'll save you that backtracking.
Yeah, you have to go on a little walk. Man, it sure would be nice if we had a faster way of getting around this gigantic open plain.
Yeah, if only. Anyway, I'm doing a lot of it off-screen, but, I am doing a lot of Crystarium stuff, usually, it's only, 2 or 3 nodes at a time, just because the faster you get your abilities and get your stats up to par, the less you die horribly in this area, and, that's a plus, because the Grand Pulse has really, really dangerous enemies.
The good news is that when you do start murdering them, they start dropping a good bit of CP. So they've got that going for them at least.
Yeah, this place is a giant jump up in difficulty as well as fun.
Yes.
May or may not be related.
This is a difficulty brick wall.
Yeah, so that area back there is actually where we started the chapter last time. So this is just going to be a brief little rundown the area up to where we found Hope.
So yeah, we sure are backtracking all the way through this boring, featureless cave. Can we, murder those slugs a bit faster now?
We're going to murder them so fast, I'm not even going to show it to you.
Excellent. That's the best kind of murdering. Man, the music in this place is just weird.
Yeah, the music in this game, this part of the game is really weird. I mean, it's really good, but it's really unfitting.
Yeah, it's like maybe the soundtrack for this bit was just done in a rush, and they didn't have it all planned out, and they just said, "Oh well, fuck it, we've got these tracks lying around. Let's just use them."
Yeah, so that's going to be really apparent with the next area, because it's elevator music.
It's so good. And by so good, I mean so terrible.
It's really good music, it's just this doesn't fit this area at all.
I'd forgotten. I had legit forgotten. Okay, so we're not gonna skip just walking through the rest of this corridor then, are we?
Nope. Because I wanted to make sure that everyone got to hear the lovely music for this area. And yeah, here's where Hope was.
So yeah, we were going this way earlier, and then... Nope, cutscene. We backtracked in a cutscene. But yeah, just dealing with the first couple of hunts is going to involve a whole lot of walking around. And just when you're doing this, it will be the first time in the whole of your Final Fantasy XIII experience that you will actually, honest to God, get lost.
Well, it depends on what you're doing. Because this isn't... Well, I guess they've always had the location markers.
Hold it. Shh. Shh. It's incredible. Yeah, this is really dumb.
I guess they just wanted you to feel closer to nature.
I don't think this really accomplishes that. I mean, you know, it's a chill track and everything, but
Well, at least they don't have vocals, do they?
No, this song does not.
Well, there you go. It's a lot closer than the last time I was in a video.
there are some places here that do have vocals. But yeah, this isn't one of them.
Alright, so, the Layax. So you remember those guys, the Ragnas, that were kicking our ass earlier? Yeah, these guys are the ones that summoned them.
So these are the guys we're supposed to be fighting. Oh look, there they go.
Yeah, he's not gonna get to, though.
Cool.
Yeah, but at the very least, if they do summon one, it's just one, and it's not 5 at once.
Yeah, that's a lot more manageable. But yeah, that was... I guess after that this will just feel like a holiday.
Yeah, but again, that's one of the things I like about this area, is that you can just kind of stumble into these sort of things.
Reminds me of the time I tried to design an RPG in RPG Maker, and it's really hard to get a progression of difficulty when it's all just kind of balancing numbers of enemies against the numbers you expect your party to have. So it was mostly a matter of, I put an enemy here that's way more powerful than anything you can deal with. And this area kind of does that, but by the time you're done, you're beating most of these enemies without trying.
Yeah, RPG difficulty is weird.
Alright, so that looks like a big, angry wolf thing. I think that's probably our mark.
Seems legit. So... we got a special plan for this guy?
We sort of do? Yeah. Okay, that is what I'm gonna... No, I don't. I'm gonna change it back again. Because I am that guy, and I'm totally indecisive about these things.
Okay, that guy is much larger than he looked in the background.
Yeah, so the Ugalu is, he's exactly what you'd expect. He's a big, ugly version of the wolves we were fighting earlier. He's got bigger numbers, and his breath inflicts poison and curse, instead of just poison. But, like I said, otherwise, again, he's just a big old sack of HP.
So... oops, tank, stagger, rack up multiplier, murder.
Pretty much.
And that was my strategy for everything, with very, very few exceptions.
Yeah, although, like the fight before, you really don't want to give up your Sentinel unless you absolutely have to, because that will get you killed pretty quick. Say, if Fangs wasn't guarding, this guy would be doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think I did this entire area pretty much with Lightning, Vanille, and Hope. Sometimes swapping in Saz.
Ugh.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
Like I said, I never really understood the roll bonuses, so I didn't understand the point of having a Sentinel in there, and pretty much doing nothing but defending. So that was my entire Grand Pulse experience.
It sounds like you had a lot of fun.
Well, it was still my favorite part of the game.
Well, it's going to be a lot of people's favourite part of the game. Because, it's the only part of the game that actually affords you some sort of thing that maybe resembles freedom and some sort of decision-making capability. Sort of. A bit. Maybe. Right?
Well, something a little more than go from point A to point B, watch cutscene. Now it's along the way you can stop at point C and kill something and get a reward.
I guess.
Also, there are ranks that you get for completing these hunts. We are now the Mercifex.
What the fuck is a Mercifex?
You can say whatever the fuck that is.
It means you have mercy because you're easing the pain of so many petrified Seath.
Alright, so anyway, this is a special kind of Seath Stone. This is a waypoint, and once we clear this hunt, we can use them to teleport around Grand Pulse.
Well then, that sounds like it'll make getting around much less horrifying. I guess we should immediately drop what we were doing and go do that.